If you're somebody who tries to write your own sales page by dissecting somebody else's sales page because you aren't sure what to say and how to say it, this episode is for you. I'm going to break down the framework I teach inside my membership Coffee Classroom and the framework that I use for my done for you clients that have sold out launches. Welcome back to another episode of the Cozypreneur podcast. If this is your first time listening, Cozypreneur is all about helping you make money and work with the dreamiest of clients. So grab your beverage, get your cozy socks on, and let's dive in. So the first big part of what I teach is messaging. So that means before you write any copy, before you open up the Google Doc, really backing up and having a deep understanding of your dream clients and understanding what are they going through, where do they want to go, and how can you get them there? And then trying to figure out a way to really clearly communicate that to them so that they know and they're able to decide if your offer is the best fit for them. So I'm going to break down this framework for messaging. There is 5 parts to it. And I will give you an example for each one because I do think that sometimes it's hard to grasp. And so giving the example is going to help you visualize and kind of see how you can apply it in your own business. So first up, after your headline on your sales page, you're going to be talking about the problem. So what is the specific problem that your dream clients face? And I want you to think about the actual moment when they feel the problem. And so not just saying, hey, you procrastinate, because anybody can say that, but actually painting a picture of what does it look like when you procrastinate. And so maybe it's you walk by your bedroom and you see 3 piles of laundry that you said you were going to do this weekend, but you actually didn't. And now you're shitting yourself like, I should have done it. I should do it today. And for some reason, you still haven't done it. We've all been there, right? And the other piece of this too is when you were talking about the problem, it's really validating because it shows that they are not the only person having this problem. And so sometimes if people are hiding their problems because they feel ashamed, they don't want to be singled out, right? Really bringing those problems up shows that like, okay, other people are also experiencing this. Other people also need help with this. And it normalizes the process a little bit so that they aren't feeling so bad about like, oh no, like I'm the only person in the world that has 3 piles of laundry. Like, no, you're not. And so what you want to do, no matter what your offer is thinking about ways to paint that really specific picture in their brains. So after problem, we move on to agitate. And so agitate sounds mean, but it actually just means that you are talking about why the problem matters. And so the point of agitation, like why you do it from a buyer psychology perspective, is to build internal urgency. So getting your dream clients to think about why they should take action now and not in 6 months from now. And so you can tap into the emotions of why they feel the way they do. How is this affecting their lives? And if we go back to the laundry problem, the laundry is a symptom of the problem, but the actual problem is why they're procrastinating, right? So the actual problem might be the negative self-talk. And so when you're talking about the agitation, it's going to be about shifting their beliefs and showing them that the problem's actually bigger than they realize. And yes, your negative self-talk is keeping you from doing laundry, but it's also showing up in other places in your life. And so it might be making other things hard for you that you don't even realize. And so breaking that down for them, and I think that's something that can be hard for people writing copy, is because you're an expert, you feel like your dream clients should just know, but you have to break it down for them. And so they're not going to know that the problem with laundry is actually a mindset problem. And it's actually a way that they talk to themselves. And so you have to break it down and explain to them, like, this is why this is happening to you. And again, it goes back to that piece of like normalizing it, like, okay, you're not the only person going through this. And the way that you've been thinking about it, it might not be the way that is going to help you solve your problem. And so what are the beliefs that you can shift? And so I had a hard time with beliefs when I first started and how to actually shift beliefs. So let me give you another example that's not just like the laundry one, but for example, you are a health coach, right? And so maybe your dream clients, they believe that the only way to get healthy is to have this super strict diet and intense workouts. and they have all of these negative feelings around it because they've tried it and they failed and they feel like they can't do it and there's no point in trying, right? But your agitation section, it could actually talk about like, hey, there's more that you didn't consider. There's not just one way to do things. It's actually more effective to incorporate changes slowly, and then start to talk about how you could start incorporating changes slowly now, right? And in 6 months from now, you actually have made big changes and you didn't realize that, like, wow, so many small changes add up to this big change. Or you could wait and do nothing and still be struggling with the same things. And so this is really going to open you up to talk about your approach and how you do things in a little while. So after you talk about the problem and the agitation, why the problem matters, you're going to move on to the solution. And at this point, what I see is people jumping into their offer. It is not time to talk about your offer yet. Solution is talking about the transformation that your dream clients want. The transformation needs to be a direct result of the problem you were talking about earlier, right? So thinking about connecting those dots and threading the story through your entire sales page. That's the storytelling, right? You are talking about a problem and then you are talking about what it looks like when they solve that problem. And this is where I see a lot of people, they actually start their copy at the solution stage and they leave out problem and agitation, but then you don't have that validation. You don't have that understanding that, okay, this person gets it. And so when you think about the laundry example, right? Painting a picture of what would it look like with positive self-talk? What if you actually got your laundry done every week and you felt more on top of things than ever before? And all of these other parts of your life start improving because of your self-talk is also improving, right? And so thinking about how can you actually show what is going to happen? What is it that they want? And that's going to show them that, like, okay, they understand that I want to get to this point and they're going to help me get there. And so after you've talked about the problem and the agitation, why it matters, and the solution, then you can talk about your product. And so when you talk about your product, talk about what the big promise is. What is the one thing that they're going to get out of it, right? This should be directly related to the transformation that you just put out there. And this is really your chance to show how does your offer get them from point A to point B, right? So how does it get them from the problem to the solution? And if you're somebody who hasn't listened to episode 1 with copy mistakes, go back because that's going to help you with the product section, specifically thinking about benefits and not just listing all of the deliverables of what's included inside your offer. But basically in this product section, it's really just showcasing this is how you're going to get from A to B, and I'm going to help you get there. And then the final piece of the framework is you. So how can you incorporate your brand story and your personality in a way that feels genuine, authentic, and resonates with your dream clients? And if you are building your personal brand, this is huge because this is what's going to set you apart, is your story, your personality. So making sure that, yes, you are showing up in your copy at some point. So once you have this framework down, you can replicate it everywhere that you write copy. So you can use it for your sales page. You can use it for your website, for emails. You don't have to fit every single section in one email. So you don't need a problem, agitate, solution, product, and you in one email. You can break it down one email per section. I do recommend like splitting it up that way because people are moving through the customer journey and they need some time to marinate in their feelings. So they might read your problem email and be like, okay. And they just need some time to sit there and be like, okay, I do have this problem. And they might not be ready to jump into the solution. And so giving them that space to really feel their feelings and just like soak it in. So that is probably one of the biggest mistakes I see is talking about that problem and then being like, okay, let me solve your problem. Like, no, give them space to think about it. So if you had a friend that came to you and they're venting, you aren't just going to be like, hey, let me solve your problem, right? You're going to give them time and space. You're going to listen to them. You're not going to just jump to solutions unless they are asking you to help them with something, right? And so replicating that process with your copy. So validating feelings first, and then you jump into the ways that you can help them when they are ready for it. So that is the PASB framework, as I like to call it: problem, agitate, solution, product, and you. And if you are somebody that wants this all written out for you, get the copywriting rubric because it's all broken down for you so you can look at your copy and see all the places where you can improve. I'll make sure it's linked in the show notes for you. And until next time. That's a wrap on today's episode. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to rate and leave a review on your preferred listening platform. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe for weekly episodes about how to make money and work with the dreamiest of clients without having to get dressed in the morning. Make sure to check out the show notes down below, and I'll see you in the next episode.